So, in just a few short verses from the Quran's second chapter, Al-Baqarah, we get this incredibly vivid picture of what happens to the human heart when it turns away from truth. We're going to dive into a really powerful series of metaphors, a failed trade, a fleeting fire, and a terrifying storm, to understand this whole idea of a spiritual blind spot.
But first, think about this for a second. What's the worst trade you've actually made? I mean, we've all been there, right? Trading something of value for something that just wasn't worth it in the end. This experience, this idea of a bad deal, is exactly where our analysis kicks off.
All right, so our journey starts with verse 16, which talks about a spiritual choice using the language of the marketplace, like a business deal. And it describes a transaction where something absolutely priceless is swapped for something, well, something totally worthless.
Now pay close attention to the wording here. The verse says they purchased misguidance. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't some simple mistake. No. This was a conscious, deliberate choice to trade the ultimate asset, guidance, for a huge spiritual liability.
The original language here really implies a deliberate act. It's like they walked into a market, saw a priceless diamond on one side and a pile of dust on the other, and they consciously chose the dust. They did this for temporary, worldly gains, things like status or power or just fitting in. It was a calculated decision, but one that left them with absolutely zero spiritual profit.
And this is where the timelessness of this idea just hits you. I mean, today's world is a huge marketplace of ideas, right? We see this bad trade playing out all the time, trading morals for a little online influence, exchanging core values for followers. The result is always a spiritual loss.
And here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. Modern science is actually echoing this ancient wisdom. There's a field called neuroethics, which has shown that when you repeatedly choose against your own moral compass, you can literally rewire your brain. Your neural pathways actually change, making you less and less sensitive to the truth, until eventually that misguidance you chose starts to feel normal.
Okay, so the metaphor is about to get even more intense. In verse 17, we shift gears from the cold calculation of a bad deal to a really powerful new image. A person totally lost in the dark, desperately trying to find their way.
So, the verse describes someone who, for just a moment, has the light of guidance. They've managed to kindle a fire in the middle of the darkness, and for a second, everything around them is lit up. This could be a moment of clarity they had, or maybe just their outward show of faith. But, and this is the key, because their conviction is hollow, that light gets snatched away, and they're plunged into a darkness that's even deeper than before. Because they tasted the light and then lost it, they're now completely lost, unable to tell truth from falsehood at all. And get this, the source material draws this incredible scientific parallel to a condition called cortical blindness. This is a real thing. It's when a person's eyes are perfectly healthy, but the part of their brain that processes vision is damaged, so they can physically see, but they can't perceive or understand what they're looking at. It's a perfect description of this spiritual state, having access to all the signs of truth, but having no ability to actually process what they mean.
So this state of spiritual blindness leads us to verse 18, which describes a complete sensory shutdown, a kind of spiritual paralysis. It's almost like a spiritual version of what psychologists call learned helplessness, where after so many wrong turns, you just give up trying to find the right one.
The verse calls them deaf, mute, and blind. But again, we're not talking about a physical condition here. This is all spiritual. They are deaf to the truth, even though their ears work. They are mute about the truth, even though they can speak. And they are blind to all the signs of guidance around them, even though they can see. And this is the most crucial point. This is a self-imposed state. It isn't affliction they were born with. It's a moral and spiritual paralysis that comes directly from their own persistent choices to reject what they know deep down is true.
And as if being lost in total darkness wasn't bad enough, verses 19 and 20 introduce a second, even more dynamic metaphor. Now these same people are caught right in the middle of a terrifying cosmic storm.
This storm is a powerful symbol for divine revelation itself. Now, a storm can be purifying, right? Life-giving.
But for them, with their insincere hearts, it's just plain terrifying. The darkness is their own doubt. The thunder represents warnings they don't want to hear. And in their fear,
They literally plug their ears, just trying to block it all out. Verse 20 then shows us exactly how they behave in this storm. When there's a flash of lightning, a moment of clarity, a worldly benefit, a time when things are easy, they start moving forward. They take full advantage of that light while it serves them. But the second that lightning fades and the darkness rushes back in,
The moment a test or a difficulty shows up, they just freeze. They stop dead in their tracks, completely unable or unwilling to move without that external convenience. This just brilliantly illustrates the nature of their faith, doesn't it? It's not a steady internal compass pointing them in the right direction no matter the weather. No, it's more like a weather vane, completely conditional, shifting and turning with whatever is easiest at the moment. It has zero real internal conviction. So after this escalating series of metaphors, the bad trade, the fleeting fire, and this terrifying storm, what's the ultimate takeaway? What's the final, crucial point of this whole passage? The passage ends with this really stark and powerful warning. It's a reminder to them and to us that the very ability to hear and see, to perceive truth at all, is a gift. And if that gift is continuously misused and ignored, it can be lost entirely. So the ultimate message is this. True, sincere faith isn't about only walking when the path is brightly lit by flashes of convenience and ease. It's about developing an inner light of conviction that allows you to keep walking even when it's dark, trusting that you are being guided.
And this leaves us with a final question to really think about, connecting this 1400-year-old wisdom right to our lives today. In a world that is filled with so much noise and distraction, when the convenient lights of the world inevitably flicker and die out, what's the internal compass that guides your steps in the darkness?